Welcome to Zen Summer, where we talk about healthy living, mind, body, and spirit. So today we're going to be talking about the things that remind us that we are doing all right. This is a root chakra balancing exercise that I've done in the past, and it can be very calming because of how we're going to do it. It is really, really easy for most people, maybe not everyone, but it's easy for most people to spiral into the negative thought processes and to totally convince ourselves that things are not actually okay and sometimes that they never will be again.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to come out of that once we're in that little spiral of doom. And so having these little touchstones that we're going to be talking about can be very beneficial. So the first time I ever did this, I was with my husband. We were really just talking about things that would let us know that we were still doing okay. Because, let's be honest, we have not always had it easy. Almost never have we had it easy, let's be
Oh
fair
man,
here.
right? Yeah, let's be honest.
But honestly, as we were talking about it, I couldn't really name anything physical because I didn't think that way. I was thinking about things like family and gratitude and feelings and maybe because I don't know, in my childhood I didn't lack the way that he lacked. I
Hmm.
I didn't have a real understanding of how much worse it could actually be, and it could be worse. But
Yeah,
he understood
much.
it from a really tangible level. Um, for him, the thing that stood out was paper towels. It was
Hmm.
something that as a kid he never had around. And anytime that we were struggling financially, we really didn't have them either. Honestly, we didn't have them for the probably first half of our relationship. And then we started having them. Then when we would struggle, they'd be the first thing to go off the shopping list because really you can get by with towels and not paper towels if you have to.
Yeah.
And then he told me that they were the thing that told him that we were doing okay, and I've really made an effort to keep those in the house since then.
For sure. Along the same vein, ours is like paper plates. So it's definitely more of a luxury item than it is a necessity, obviously, because we can use the regular plates. But it's nice to not have to run the water. It's nice not to have to do the dishes. It's like an extra step at the end of the day that you just don't have to worry about as much or is as extensive as it would have been originally, right? So that's one of the things when we financially struggle that just kind of is like, meh, oh well, we just can't afford it and that's okay.
And we're financially struggling. Guess what? We get to do the dishes now.
Right? Extra work for us. Hurrah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I think another one for him that he's never really said makes him know that we're okay, but it's toilet paper. And while I know that for the rest of us, for most of us, that seems like a normal thing to have in the house. When he was a kid, oftentimes they weren't able to. He's told me before that when they were little, if his mother was drinking a lot or whatever, they would end up using shirts or rags or whatever and not have toilet paper. So I've kind of overcompensated a bit here. I tend to keep multiple packs of toilet paper in the house to make sure that we never run out.
Right.
But it lets him know we're doing okay, and I want that for him. I want him to feel that security.
And that's so wonderful for you too, to understand and to know and to notice that this thing about your partner is something that's deeply ingrained and helps to make him feel more safe. And you make sure you go out of your way to make sure that he has that thing or those things.
Yes, I wanted to have a roll of paper towels sitting here, but this week has been a rough week. So we don't have any paper towels in the house right now. That being said, for me, it's about food. So when the kids were little, I, and I know you do this too, if we were struggling, they didn't know it because I bought the stuff they needed, they wanted, they liked. But that meant that mom didn't always get the things that she wanted, she needed, or she liked.
That's right.
And so,
Surprise.
yeah. So for me, I I think food is a big thing that lets me know we're doing okay. If I have my little Andes mints sitting around, or I have enough Reese's peanut butter cups in the house, then I know I'm doing okay. They're my two favorite snacks, but they are snacks. So if we're struggling, they're the first thing off that shopping list.
Right.
So we're not doing great because we have no paper towels, but we do have chocolate.
So we're okay.
We're doing
We're
okay.
okay.
We're okay. We're still okay.
Right.
And we will have paper towels because I'm going to the store this week and getting some.
There you go. So it's all right. It'll return to normal shortly.
So,
Something that I like
oh, I
is
was going
the
to say, is there anything else other than,
well, I think clean laundry and like having
ooh,
the ability to have access to a washing machine and a dryer. Because that's in my experience. I sometimes the things that I had to do for laundry was to like hand wash my clothes in a bathtub,
been
wring
there?
them all out, and then put them on a line either in the garage or outside, and either let the sun do its job or like a fan or something. Like I had to wring out jeans and like bed sheets and all this crazy stuff that you don't think about twice when you just put it in a washing machine and a dryer because it does all the work for you and you're just like, okay, done.
Or I've been stuck going to the laundromat, which is not the
Oh,
worst thing ever, but it's so not fun. And
incredibly inconvenient.
it's way not fun for me because of my back problems and the chairs are not comfortable. And I'm not one to take my laundry in and then leave and come back because I don't trust
Oh
people.
no, absolutely not. You sit in your car and you watch it like a hawk, like a normal human being.
Right, exactly. So I can follow you on that appreciation for sure.
And then a bed, a comfortable bed to sleep in. Like
Uh,
I actually
those
in my
exist.
apartment right now, I know, listen, I still have back problems, don't get me wrong, but we've been through a lot. So our beds and the sizes of them and the comfort level of them have changed in a variety of ways. In the even just the time that I've had my kids. And well, I think that one, having a bed, two, having something other than a blow up mattress, three, being able to sleep in my bed on my own, which is a feat that I haven't been able to achieve in a while.
As a parent, I
Yeah,
totally understand that.
you know? So, so it feels pretty good when I have, a big space that's clean and smells good and is comfortable and soft and is meant just for me is pretty cool. It's truly an accomplishment for me.
And I think that's great. So, out of curiosity, I mean, you said you thought it was really nice that I knew what made my husband comfortable. Do you know, or could you take a guess at what the thing is that your mom would say if you asked her what it was that what one thing in the house makes her know that everything's okay?
Well, I definitely think cleaning products and like sanitizing spray and like trash bags and like toilet paper, like practical items, I
Those give
think.
her a
For
level of
like,
security.
she just wants to know, I think that, and food and drinks, I think that's a big motivator for her as well. That lets her know that we're okay when we're not struggling to provide that for ourselves.
Right.
It's nice.
So the exercise that, and you know because I've shared it with you, the exercise that I challenge my clients and myself with is this. So I'm petting the dog. For anybody who's watching the video, I'm petting the dog because they are shooting off fireworks down the road and she is not at all happy.
You look like
Um,
the guy from Inspector Gadget who's always like stroking the white cat
I'm just
with
trying to
the
keep
like
her from
arm.
freaking out. All right, so here's the exercise. Y'all are gonna sit, and anybody wants to try this with us, you're gonna sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and you're gonna write down a list of around 20 to 30 items that you have in your home. This can be things like blankets, towels, pillows, your bed, a comfy chair, paper towels, snacks, like I talked about. Oh, I thought I lost my Andy's candy there for a minute.
Oh no.
That would be such a tragedy. Um, anything at all, just 20 to 30 items. Once you have your list, underneath that, you're going to write the numbers 1, 2, and 3. Next to each one of them, you're going to write these meanings. 1 is things that let you know you're okay. All right, Bella, stop. These might be luxury items. Well, okay. These could be luxury to you items. Maybe they're not luxury for someone else because while Andy's candies are my luxury item, they may not be that for somebody else. So
Right.
these can be luxury to you. They are things that you know you're not struggling if you have them. They might not be on your list of things to buy if you are struggling. So, or a list of things to have if you are struggling. The number 2 is going to be comfort items, and we all have these. This might not necessarily be on the list of things to buy or have if you're struggling, but they're going to be things that you have that give you a sense of comfort or a sense of ease. For instance, for me, it would be like extra towels. I don't know what it is about towels, but having extra towels just makes me feel better. It might be because, when I was young, my mom always had a whole cabinet full of extra towels and a whole other cabinet full of extra blankets.
Yes.
And so maybe that's why it makes me feel more comfortable, more at ease, but that's my comfort item. So that's what your number 2 is going to be. It's going to be your comfort items. Number 3 is going to be items that don't fit on with 1 or 2, but that you're grateful for. For instance, what you and I just talked about, the washing machine. Very, very grateful that I have a washing machine. And I'm even more grateful because I live in an RV, and so for a long time it's been laundry mats for me. We
Mm,
bought it's like a quarter size washing machine. It's this little tiny dinky washing machine that does like maybe 3 sets of clothes in it,
right.
but it means I don't have to go to the laundromat. So they're very grateful for
Amen.
that. Um, so 3 is going to be the things that you're grateful for having. And again, this is stuff that's not going to fit on your 1 or 2 list, but that is things that you felt important enough to put on the list for some reason. So you're grateful for them. Now, in general, I say this goes in a journal so that you can keep it around. Uh, I leave that choice to all of you who are listening, watching, whatever, whether you do or not. If you keep it in a journal, it gives you something you can look back at when you're struggling. So that you can look at these 1, 2, and 3 items and go, yes, I have these things, or I don't have these things, and why don't why don't I have paper towels right now? Because last week was not a good week. Let's just say it wasn't a bad week. We just had a lot. We went and got our passports last week, which for the 2 of us was $330. That was just paper towels. Just did not know, but I
And
wanted.
they just rip it off,
It
you
was
know?
more important to do the passport. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not because you're struggling. Maybe something more important came up. Maybe something happened that you had to replace it with. But you can look at your list and know, I have these things that I'm grateful for. I have these comfort items. I have most of my items, maybe just not one.
Mm,
Uh, if you decide not to keep it in a journal, you can always recreate this list every time you need it. Lots of stuff is going to be changing for us very, very soon. And so my lists are going to change entirely
mm,
because,
yeah.
I mean, yes, we'll probably have paper towels in the places that we're going, but I won't have I won't have all the extra towels because you know what? Those just take up extra room in my suitcase that I'm moving my stuff into. So,
More power to you. I don't know if I could do that at this point in my life. I would almost be sad, you know?
oh,
Because
I'm
I had,
so excited about it though.
right.
There are some things I'm sad about, but I'm so excited about the change. I think it's going to be fun. Um,
Yeah.
but either way that you decide to do this list, these are things that are going to help you feel safe and secure when you're feeling a little off balance. That's why it's a root chakra exercise, because the root chakra is about safety and security. And when we're not in balance there, this helps to bring some of that back. It helps us to remind ourselves that we have some safety and security. So I sent this to you earlier, was there anything on any of these that you haven't mentioned already that you wanted to cover, like things that maybe that you are off your number two list that aren't the things that make you know you're okay, but they're comfort items?
Well, things like tampons.
Yeah, okay, but
I didn't always have the opportunity to have them. Sometimes I couldn't afford them. So I'd have to buy like the cheaper versions that, wouldn't be great, and or pads, which always feel like a diaper to me, to be perfectly honest. So like feminine hygiene products, I guess I would say, they kind of are like a weird little nod to I'm financially stable enough to make sure that I have these before I have to go to the store because I already have it.
oh, that's
Does that
another thing. The last minute stuff. Like, if I don't have to go last minute, and I would say that, yes, having them before the last minute makes me feel more comfortable, makes me know things are okay because I didn't have to wait till the last minute. Now, that
yeah.
doesn't mean I didn't wait till the last minute because I procrastinate. I'm like the procrastination queen. But
Well, yeah,
if I
fair.
don't
Yeah.
have to wait till the last minute, that makes a big difference.
It's so nice. It's so much less anxiety inducing. It's so much less stressful because you're not it's like when you have this thing that you keep putting off, especially with us, who love to procrastinate or tend to or are prone to the tendency to procrastinate. We often have this like anxiety kind of just sitting here a lot because there's a lot of stuff we know we need to do that we may not have had the time or the motivation or whatever the case may be, right? That keeps us from accomplishing the task that we know we should do or want to do or are striving to do. And anything that takes that off your shoulders is going to make you feel so much, better and lighter and less stressed.
Yeah, and that's the goal. The goal here is to find things and tools that will help you lower the amount of stress that you feel. That will help you move toward your own zen moments. And if any of this, honestly, if having paper towels in the house helps you feel more zen, then maybe they are a necessity. Maybe they've
Right.
become a necessity.
And you need to, like, if it's something you're attached to, even on that list that might surprise you that you don't like, especially if it's something that you are attached to that you don't appreciate or that you don't like that you're attached to, and maybe it's something that kind of niggles at you, I would even take that opportunity to maybe see and question as to why you feel the need that you have to have this thing that maybe, I don't know, there's some darkness attached to, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever found a surprising in that way item. I mean, I think, of course, again, for a long time I didn't think in terms of items. But really, and I think that's a good thing. I think that if you don't think in terms of the items you have, that's not a bad thing. That being
No.
said, we all have things that we're attached to.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to lessen them, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I am I think that's part of the. I've always lived that more traveling life. We went from we went from apartment to apartment, and God, I hated moving. I think everybody hates moving. Moving is
Yes.
just ugh.
Literally the worst.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's the moving part. It's the packing part and the unpacking
It's
part
all
and
this
the
stuff. It's
oh.
all this stuff you have to move.
Do you
So
hear
much
yourself
stuff.
though? Listen to that. It's all this stuff, and yet, which is
I need to have
why
the stuff.
I'm excited to be moving everything down into two suitcases because I won't have all this stuff. And
Well,
yet,
see, I'm having the opposite because I just had a fire not too long
I
ago
know you
that took
did.
all of my things. So I'm enjoying the process of like accumulating the stuff instead of getting rid of it, At least a little bit. I mean, I don't try to be too
Well, you're going
materialistic.
to accumulate some of my books because I can't carry all these books with me.
That's
So,
good. No, if you need, yeah. Send them to me. I
Oh,
would
oh,
love to
believe
read
me, they're going to be coming your way. Whether I manage to drive them down there or send them over with one of my kids, who's good because I've got kids coming out here in October, and
them.
I'm going to
Nice.
send some stuff back with them, so maybe they can deliver it to you. I don't know, one way or the other. You're getting some of these books.
Okay, good. Good.
I know that one of the books that I had sent you before was The Empath Survival Guide, and I think that's
Yes.
by Judith Orloff. And
Hmm.
you lost that, and that I have a copy of it. It is going to come your way, I promise, because
Awesome.
it is a really, really good book, and I feel like you benefit greatly. You will benefit greatly from that.
I do. I do. It's a lot of really good exercises and mind. It's almost like mind stretching. It's like you're, yeah, exercising your brain a little bit and your emotions.
See, that's something for me. Oh, 15, 16, 17 years ago. We've been RVing now for 15 years. So 16, 17 years ago, I would have said that the thing that made me know that everything was okay was my room full of books because I had so many books in my house. And then we had to move into an RV because life happened. And even though we had intended to do it when we retired, the universe decided we were going early. So we were.
Right,
And
right.
I couldn't carry the 10 ton of books that I had in my house. So those all had to be given out and dispersed and gotten rid of in one way or another. And so that was really hard for me because like someone attached to I don't know a special blanket or whatever that maybe your mom made you. I had a very strong attachment to my books.
Mm,
And so for me, that was a big change. I think that part of us living this lifestyle has allowed for me to not not think of things that way, not think of things literal like objects in the way that so many people do. And maybe for me that's part of my zen.
right.
I That's not to say that I won't carry I have a couple of things, they're very small items that when I managed the park in Florida that we were both at, some of the people there gave me some little things that people one of the guys knew that I was into owls and he gave me this like owl thing that hangs on the wall. And it's small, it's probably, that big. And I have a couple of little knickknacks that someone gave me that, again, were owls because everybody figured out I liked owls. And so, and those will go with me. And the little things, some of those things, those are memory things, though. I don't think those are things that let me know everything's okay.
Right,
And that's all right too, to have the memory things that just a little bit of attachment. I'm okay with
right.
that. They're still small enough I can carry them. They're not going to weigh down the suitcases. So, because listen,
Ideal.
I have to walk through airports dragging suitcases, and I am not that big, and I am certainly not that strong. So, there's
Oh,
not going to be a lot of stuff.
you got a rolly suitcase, right?
Huh?
You got a rolly suitcase,
We
right?
are. We're gonna get. We haven't gotten them yet.
Okay.
We're buying some rolling suitcases, and I don't think that the carry-on is going to be a rolly thing. It's probably going to be like a backpack or something that'll attach to the top of the rolling ones. But
Right.
um, it's got to be stuff that's fairly easy for me to move around because I'm not that big, and he can't roll all of them.
No, for
He
sure.
only has
Yeah.
2 arms.
Right? Right?
All right. Well, I think that this was a great talk. I do think it's really important for all of us to have these little, touchstones to remind ourselves that everything is all right. There are times when it just really doesn't feel that way. I feel like there are times when I feel like we're not going to get anywhere. Where I feel like a failure.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and I see the paper towels sitting on the counter. Uh, which I gotta go buy. But they've become that thing for me too now that he said it that way. So knowing that he feels that way has made it that way for me. So,
Right.
I'll see them sitting on the counter and I go and grab one of my Andes mints and eat a mint and I smile and know everything's okay.
Yeah, no, deeply. You have to be able to console yourself to a certain extent as a growing person, I guess I should say, or dealing internally with things that bother you, disappoint you, sometimes drag you down, make you feel heavier than you're supposed to, or maybe than you would like to feel. I shouldn't say should feel. These steps and these bits of advice, I think, always really helped me to develop since I met you. And hopefully, they're very helpful to other people.
Well, the goal here is that we want everybody to find what works for them and not all the same tools. Every tool that I have isn't going to work for every person that we talk to and every listener that we have. But
Mhm.
if it helps a few and if some of the tools help different people, then maybe everybody will be able to find a little more inner peace, which is the goal.
Amen.
All right, so we are going to end this here, and we will be back again very soon to talk a little about anger. If you'd like to show support for Zen Summer, the hosts, and the information that we're sharing, you can visit us on ko-fi.com/Zen Summer. That's ko-fi.com/Zen Summer. And until next time, we wish for all of you, if not a Zen summer, then at least a Zen moment or two.